Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Maggi from SMA Law Firm. Welcome to Building the Bridge. I'm here with Kal Patel from FL Patel Law, based in St. Petersburg, Florida. Thanks for being with us, Kal.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
So we both work with a lot of foreign entrepreneurs and companies that are interested in launching either startups or expanding their businesses into the U.S. What would you say are the 5 main things that they should be concerned with or think about before taking that step?
Definitely. A lot of people don't realize running a business is a lot of work, and there's a lot of compliance you have to go through. And so, a lot of people will go on YouTube, watch these videos, set up an LLC somewhere, and, just start doing business in the US, but they don't follow the laws and rules that are in the US and then end up getting in trouble. And so, here are some 5 common things that my clients, kind of just are surprised when I tell them about this, right? So first thing is, you have to understand how the US, the laws in the US work. And so the US, it has a federal system, which is governed by federal laws, and then a second system, which is governed by each individual state. And they both have different laws. And then something else they might not even know is in the state, there's little counties and the cities, and each of these have their own laws that regulate your business and what you can and can't do. So if you're going to be doing business in the US, you need to know federal law, state law, county law, city law, and maybe, any other local jurisdiction that your business is located in.
Okay. How about the last 4, I guess?
Yeah. And then the second thing that you need to know is also taxes and how taxes work. So if you're a foreign national, the way taxes work will depend on how your entity is set up. And so if you're an LLC, you are going to be paying that tax at the end of the year directly to the government. And if you don't pay those taxes, there's a lot of back penalties and interest and potentially also criminal violations for not collecting and paying federal tax, state tax, and local county and city tax on top of that, right? And so, if you're going to be doing business in the US, you have to work with a good CPA who knows and understands the filings required for foreign nationals to be able to pay their taxes in the United States. This is not just a thing you just set up a company and do it. You make $1 here, you owe money.
Absolutely.
And yeah. And then another thing, the third thing that you need to be aware of is hiring employees in the US. Employees, there's a lot of different laws and rules that regulate, how you can hire employees, how you can fire them, employee payroll taxes and things like that, and employee management essentially. And so, you need to understand whether you're going to hire employees or contractors and really understand what your labor force is going to look like in the US.
And that is dictated a lot by state law as well.
Correct. Yeah. And depends on the size of your company, right? And then the fourth thing is, this goes back to the compliance side of things. You have to understand what your product is, what you're selling, because in America, it's a very litigious society we have here. And so, if you provide a product or a service and, it breaks or it causes any sort of harm or anything like that, your business is liable to that type of liability. So you want to figure out what you can do to minimize that liability through either contracts or service agreements, and make sure you have those documents in place and they're effective.
And also licenses and IP protections if those are necessary, depending on what you're doing, right?
Exactly. And then the fifth thing is, I would say most clients are not aware of is, the anti-money laundering regulations we have in the US. It's, these are this is the part that makes it difficult for a lot of foreign clients to be able to invest and do things in the US because of all the money laundering compliance that you have to go through. So if you're going to be investing a lot of money, you have to kind of show proof of income, where you generate that money, where did it come from, and things like that. And so it's always good to, one, have good advisors on your team to help you navigate the complexities of the US legal framework and system. So you don't have any issues down the road, because if you do, it's very painful to correct these things, especially because a lot of times it can have criminal liability.
That's why this is so intimidating for some people when they're thinking of launching here. And it's so important to keep all these factors in mind and do all the pre-planning with the right people, right?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. There's a lot of bad advice out there in terms of, making it, making this process something that's, a very simple process and things like that. But in fact, it's a very complicated process, and it can create a lot more issues than help you with. So unless, you're very dedicated to doing business in this country, it may not make sense for you. If you're not, if you want to just dabble your toes with it, it may not make sense in most cases.
Right, and you want to make sure you're doing it the right way if you decide to, because otherwise you could have many reasons to lose the business on top of just how difficult it is to run a business in general, right?
Oh, 100%, 100%.
So if someone wants to get a sort of an analysis of what their project is, they want to incorporate, they need some background and they need a holistic sort of approach to it where someone can bring in other members like CPAs and other attorneys. How do they get in touch with you as their point person for a project like this?
Yeah, definitely. So they can go to our website, flpatellaw.com. We have tons of great information about doing business in the US, hiring employees. So we have a lot of educational resources they can check out. And then if they want to work with our firm, just fill out the contact form on our website or the chat box, schedule a consult with me, and we can kind of discuss and create an outline and a strategy for you to be able to expand your business into the US or start your business here. And as a law firm that works with international clients, one of the things that we do is we also develop relationships with other professionals that also work with international clients, because not everyone's familiar with these challenges that non-residents have, and the laws are very different if you're a non-resident versus if you're a resident.
Thank you so much for your knowledge and for your time, Cal.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Steve.